Conduit seals are crucial components in electrical installations within hazardous classified locations. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, dictates where and when these seals are necessary to prevent explosions. Specifically concerning Class 1 Division 2, or Conduit locations, the NEC mandates conduit seals at the point of entry into the hazardous area. This requirement exists to prevent the propagation of potentially explosive gases or vapors from the hazardous area through the conduit system to non-hazardous areas. For the scenario described, focusing on a mixed room classified as Conduit, understanding the precise requirements for conduit seals is crucial for ensuring safety and code compliance. The instruments within the mixed room, including level switches, mass meters, solenoid valves, and pressure transmitters, are rated for Conduit environments. The wiring for these instruments is routed using rigid conduit and flexible metal conduit, often referred to as cell-tight, at the instruments themselves. This wiring is then connected to an M4X enclosure, also located within the room, which houses remote input-output, or I/O modules that are also rated for Conduit. From this M4X enclosure, the remote I/O network, typically a belt and cable or similar, is routed through rigid conduit to a non-hazardous area enclosure where the programmable logic controller, or PLC, is housed. The key question is whether conduit seals are needed for each instrument inside the mixed room, that is, for the local wiring within the Conduit area. The NEC clearly states that conduit seals are required at the point of entry of Class 1, Division 2 hazardous locations. This means that any conduit entering the mixed room from a non-hazardous area must have a conduit seal installed. This applies regardless of whether the conduit is carrying wiring for instruments or any other devices within the room. The purpose of this seal is to prevent any potential explosion or fire from propagating out of the Conduit area through the conduit system. However, the NEC provides an exception for local wiring within a Conduit hazardous location. Conduit seals are not required for wiring that is entirely contained within the hazardous area. In the context of the mixed room, the local wiring refers to the wiring that connects the instruments directly to the M4X enclosure housing the remote I/O modules. Because this wiring is completely within the Conduit hazardous location, it does not require conduit seals. The reasoning behind this exception is that the risk of explosion propagation is already addressed by the Conduit rating of the instruments, wiring methods, and enclosures within the room. The primary concern is preventing the escape of hazards from the room itself, not within the room. Therefore, based on the NEC guidelines, conduit seals are only necessary for each conduit that enters the mixed room from a non-hazardous area. You do not need to install conduit seals for any of the local wiring that connects the instruments to the M4X enclosure within the room. To summarize, firstly, conduit seals are mandatory where conduits pass from a non-hazardous location into a Class 1 Division 2 or Conduit hazardous location. Secondly, these seals prevent the migration of flammable substances from the hazardous area through the conduit system. Thirdly, local wiring within a Conduit area connecting devices within that area does not require conduit seals. Fourthly, this exemption applies because the equipment and wiring within the Conduit area are already rated and designed for the hazardous environment. Fifthly, the focus of the code is on preventing the escape of hazards from the classified location to a non-classified location. Sixthly, ensure that all equipment and wiring within the Conduit area are properly rated for the environment. Seventhly, regularly inspect and maintain all conduit seals to ensure their integrity. Eighthly, consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer to verify compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Ninthly, always refer to the latest edition of the NEC for the most up-to-date requirements. Tenthly, proper installation of conduit seals is critical for safety in hazardous locations. It's important to note that while conduit seals are not required for the internal wiring within the Conduit area, all components and wiring methods used must still be appropriate for the hazardous location. This includes using explosion-proof enclosures, appropriate wiring types, and ensuring proper grounding and bonding. For example, if you have a motor operating within the Conduit area, it must be a motor specifically designed and rated for use in such hazardous environments. Similarly, any junction boxes or other enclosures used for the local wiring must also be explosion-proof or intrinsically safe. Furthermore, the type of wiring used must be suitable for the environment, typically requiring specific insulation and shielding characteristics. Additionally, proper grounding and bonding are crucial to prevent the buildup of static electricity, which could potentially ignite flammable substances. The NEC provides detailed guidelines on grounding and bonding requirements for hazardous locations, and these must be strictly followed. One common misconception is that simply using Conduit 2 rated equipment is sufficient. However, proper installation and wiring methods are equally important. Even the best equipment will not provide adequate protection if it is not installed and wired correctly. This includes ensuring that all connections are tight and secure, that wiring is properly supported, and that all enclosures are properly sealed. Regular inspections and maintenance are also essential to ensure the continued integrity of the electrical system in the hazardous location. Conduit seals, in particular, should be inspected regularly for any signs of damage or deterioration. If a seal is found to be damaged, it must be replaced immediately. In addition to the NEC, other standards and regulations may also apply to electrical installations in hazardous locations. These may include local building codes, industry-specific standards, and insurance requirements. It is important to be familiar with all applicable codes and standards and to ensure that the installation complies with all of them. When in doubt, it is always best to consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer. These professionals have the knowledge and experience to ensure that the installation is safe and code compliant. They can also provide guidance on selecting the appropriate equipment and wiring methods for the specific hazardous location. Remember, safety is the top priority when working with electrical systems in hazardous locations. By following the NEC guidelines and consulting with qualified professionals, you can ensure that the installation is safe and that the risk of explosion or fire is minimized. The NEC also addresses the types of conduit and fittings that are suitable for use in hazardous locations. Typically, rigid metal conduit, or RMC, and intermediate metal conduit, or IMC, are the preferred wiring methods, as they provide a robust and durable enclosure for the wiring. Flexible metal conduit, or FMC, is permitted in some cases, but it must be used with appropriate fittings and must be properly grounded. The fittings used with the conduit must also be rated for use in hazardous locations. This means that they must be explosion-proof or intrinsically safe, depending on the specific requirements of the location. In addition to the conduit and fittings, the wiring itself must also be suitable for the environment. The NEC specifies the types of wire and cable that are permitted for use in hazardous locations, taking into account factors such as temperature rating, insulation type, and resistance to chemicals and abrasion. It is important to select the appropriate wiring for the specific application and to ensure that it is properly installed and supported. When installing conduit seals, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. The seals must be properly packed with the appropriate sealing compound, and they must be installed in a way that ensures a tight and effective seal. The NEC specifies the minimum distance that the seal must be located from any potential ignition source, such as a switch or a motor. This distance is intended to prevent the ignition of any flammable substances that may be present in the area. In some cases, it may be necessary to use a double seal to provide additional protection. A double seal consists of two separate conduit seals installed in series, with a short length of conduit between them. This provides an extra layer of protection in case one of the seals fails. The NEC also addresses the issue of bonding and grounding in hazardous locations. Proper bonding and grounding are essential to prevent the buildup of static electricity which could potentially ignite flammable substances. The NEC specifies the size and type of grounding conductors that are required, as well as the methods for bonding metal enclosures and equipment. It is important to follow these requirements carefully to ensure that the electrical system is properly grounded and bonded. In addition to the technical requirements, it is also important to have a thorough understanding of the hazardous location classification. The classification is based on the type of hazardous substance that is present, the likelihood of its presence, and the potential for it to ignite. The NEC divides hazardous locations into different classes, divisions, and groups, each with its own specific requirements. It is important to understand the classification of the location in order to select the appropriate equipment and wiring methods. For example, Class 1 locations are those where flammable gases or vapors are present. Class 2 locations are those where combustible dusts are present. Class 3 locations are those where ignitable fibers or flyings are present. Within each class, there are also divisions that indicate the likelihood of the hazardous substance being present. Division 1 locations are those where the hazardous substance is normally present or is likely to be present under normal operating conditions. Division 2 locations are those where the hazardous substance is not normally present but may be present under abnormal conditions such as a leak or a spill. Finally, within each class and division, there are also groups that further define the type of hazardous substance that is present. These groups are based on the specific chemical properties of the substance, such as its ignition temperature and explosion pressure. By understanding the hazardous location classification, you can select the appropriate equipment and wiring methods to ensure that the electrical system is safe and code compliant. Remember, working in hazardous locations requires specialized knowledge and training. It is important to consult with qualified professionals and to follow all applicable codes and standards. Safety should always be the top priority when working with electrical systems in hazardous locations. The use of appropriate conduit seals, wiring methods, and equipment is essential for preventing explosions and fires. By following the NEC guidelines and consulting with qualified professionals, you can ensure that the installation is safe and that the risk of accidents is minimized.